Hey y'all, Cardlin here. In the past, I made a quick and simple guide about the basics of script writing. I'll post the link in the description below. This video is for those of y'all who want to take your script to the next level and really make a memorable audio for the masses. To do that, I'll be going over a few things: script formatting, using sound, collaborations or collabs, series, breaking the mold, and inspiration. Script formatting, or what should a script look like? One of the questions I get the most is, what should a script look like? How long should it be, etc. There's no single way to write a script, but there are two goals to keep in mind: making the script easy for me to sight read, and making the script easy to make any changes to without needing to totally reformat it. In general, an official scriptwriting format for things like screenplays isn't necessary. Writing in standard paragraph form is just fine. Make sure to break up the paragraphs where it would make sense to take a breath, or a pause, or to switch ideas. For length, I now have a word limit of 1500 words for all types of scripts. This allows a good amount of room to tell a story without making the audio run too long wherein the audience might begin to lose interest. If a story needs more room than this word count allows, that's where series and multi-part audios come in, but more about those later. For things like sound effects, scene directions, and context of what's going on, please format them in a way that makes them stand out. I recommend making sounds bold, making the speaker's internal thoughts italic, and making any direction or commentary underlined, but use whatever is most comfortable to you and your expression. Keeping it simple and easy to read is the key for script formatting. Speaking of sounds, ambiance, sound effects, and building a story with sound. When it comes to audios, it's all about conveying information to the listener to paint a scene in their minds. There are two ways to do that: with dialogue and with the use of ambiance and sound effects. Ambiance, or background noise, can be a great way to let the audience know where a scene is taking place. Chirping crickets can indicate the scene is outdoors, or the clinking of silverware can set the scene in a restaurant, or perhaps reverberating music can set it at a party. It allows you to do that perfect writing trick of keeping the speaker from having to say something they might not naturally say in conversation. For example, "Gee, the crickets sure are loud tonight" can now become a sarcastic, "Nothing beats the peace and quiet of the great outdoors, huh?" The changing of ambiance is a good way to show a scene has moved to a new location or that time has passed. If the music of a party suddenly gets muffled, maybe the speaker and listener have gone to another room. The crickets chirping stopping could mean that the listener has gone inside, if you couple it with the sound of a door closing, or that the scene is past if you stop the sound altogether. As for individual sound effects, they're tricky to use. On one hand, tastefully placed sound effects can really add that extra kick to an audio and save the speaker from awkward dictation. On the other hand, however, too many sounds can make things sound too cartoony or slapstick. A villain drawing a blade to attack the hero, a door bursting open just in the nick of time, or even just a phone ringing to indicate the listener is calling. Sound effects can be especially useful when there's more than one voice or more action going on, which brings us to collaborations, working with other voice actors to include multiple voices. In general, there are three types of collaboration scripts: cameos, single script collabs, and a full collab. Cameos. A cameo is just a few lines in a script by another person. Maybe it's an announcement over an intercom. Maybe it's a shop owner helping the main speaker. Maybe it's the listener's friend calling to give them some information. The other voice serves a purpose to push the narrative along, or to deepen the immersion when a single voice isn't enough. These are typically short and quick and can be a fun little extra in an audio. Single script collabs. Sometimes a single script will have two main characters, or maybe a second character that comes in partway through the story. This extra voice can be a great way to build on the story. Maybe it's a bad guy bent on revenge. Maybe it's a rival trying to accomplish the same goal. Maybe it's a best friend coming to help solve a problem. The possibilities are endless. These can be a fun way to tell a bigger story than one character can tell alone. Full collabs. Full collabs are when two creators are trying to help build each other's channel and introduce each other's communities to each other. Typically, these scripts will come in a pair, one for each of the creators' channels. These can be sequels, or stories using the same characters but not necessarily in any order, or completely unrelated stories. Sometimes they'll be paired with spicy audios as well, so that both creators can have some content for their Patreon patrons. The main goal with these is to help boost and lift each other as ASM artists. No one character should be made to be seen as better than the other. The last thing we want is warring communities, or negative comments about our new collab partner. Now then, on to the next topic. Series, for longer tales that don't fit the 1500 word limit. One of the first things I suggest with a longer story is to plan where you want to go. This might change as you write the scripts, but a plan is a great place to start so you don't get lost on the way. Next is figuring out how you're going to break up the story into pieces. You want the end of one audio to link up to the next one in an enticing way. Maybe end on a cliffhanger, or a reveal that will make everyone excited for the next part. You don't want to just stop in the middle of an event, but you also don't want to stop when nothing is happening in the story. Lastly, a series has to be fully written before it can be accepted. You're welcome to submit a part 1 as well as a general plan of where the rest of the series will go and how long it'll be. But to avoid a series going unfinished or keeping listeners from waiting too long, I ask that all parts of a series be finished before I can fully accept it. As a quick but very crucial aside when it comes to scripts that are series, and also with collabs, I think it's fair that you know that they're harder to do. Committing to multiple parts is a big enough endeavor for my team alone, but to ask the same of another creator can be difficult. These types of scripts can take much longer to produce, and you may be waiting for a while to hear your work realized into an audio. But now that you have a story idea and planned how to tell it, how do you make your script really stand out? Breaking the mold. Don't just do what everyone else has done. I get a lot of scripts, and sometimes they tend to blend together. Typically, I accept 1 out of every 3 scripts submitted. If you want to raise the chances that your script will be selected, your best bet is to make a script that will be remembered. There's a joke my editor and I have that some of our scripts follow a bit of a formula, especially our comfort scripts. Usually Cardlin comes home with some food, the listener's upset and usually cries, then Cardlin comforts them with some nice words. The listener feels better, and they go get more food. While this is definitely a tried and true way to offer comfort, it's not the only way. Maybe the listener is mad at something, or frustrated. Maybe it's Cardlin who needs the comfort from the listener. Changing the locale, time of day, or even the mood can do lots to make a script unique. Breaking out of formulas like this opens up way more opportunities to tell a story. Another thing to be careful of is using tropes, or cliches, and really trying not to overuse them. Tropes can be really handy because they give you an idea of a character immediately without having to give a lot of exposition. Like if we know in an audio a character is a bad boy, we already have some ideas of what he's like. Same with other simple ones like nerd or girl next door. What you don't want to do is only rely on those tropes alone, since they become predictable. Make your character different. Give him or her something that would maybe go against that mold. Maybe our bad boy has a softer side he shows later. Or our nerd isn't as shy as people may think. There are lots of ways to surprise the audience and keep the story going. That having been said, don't shy away from retelling a story in your own way. Just because an audio has been done before doesn't mean it can't be retold in a different setting, or from a different perspective, or with some crucial details swapped. There will always be a need for more comfort scripts for various scenarios, so if you're experiencing something you need comfort for, chances are you have a view on it that maybe others will share. Now that you have your ideas of how to break the mold when it comes to scripts, all you need is a little inspiration to write them. Inspiration, or how to feel writing a script. One of the most difficult parts of writing a script can be wanting and feeling like writing a script. Having an idea is great, you can't start without one, but an idea is not always all you need to write an entire story. Sometimes you start with lots of enthusiasm, but find you're just not into it after a while, and writing starts to feel like a chore. This always shows in the writing itself. We've all watched movies or read books where it feels like the writer just didn't like what they were writing, and it's less enjoyable for the audience overall. The opposite's also true though. When you're writing a story you absolutely love and want to see it to the end, the audience can always tell that it's a true passion project. That inspiration is what can keep you going and keep the ideas flowing while you work. I'm not saying every script you write will be your favorite of all time, but enjoying and having fun with your writing is a key part of writing a great script. If you're not feeling a story, take a break from it. Maybe it's something you decide to pick up later, or pass off to a friend who has a great way to finish it off. Maybe you have an idea, but can't write it into a full script for whatever reason. I have a subreddit I'll link in the description below where you can post script ideas for writers to take your tiny spark and grow it into a big, cozy flame. If you're not particularly feeling inspired but still want to write something, there's lots of ways to find that inspiration. Reading your favorite book, watching a movie or show, even listening to music can help you find inspiration. Hell, I've looked up lyrics to old favorite songs, found a line I really liked, and spun whole scripts out of them. Also, talking to other writers about their projects might just help kickstart your own as well. The key is finding that drive to create and using that to make your story. So, now that you have all these new tips, go out and write. Myself and my team look forward to seeing what amazing stories you all come up with and bringing them to life. Go, create, write. And when you're done, you can submit them using the steps detailed in the description of this video. Did I miss any tips? Are there any you picked up along the way that you want to share? Do you have any remaining questions about the script writing process? Please, post them in the comments below. And thanks for listening.